It's your girl DramaKueen with another Motivational Monday movement. Today is going to be a little different. It's going to be motivational, but it's also going to be a challenge, something that I challenge you guys to do. And I feel like I can do that because it's something that I've done and I feel fulfilled. I feel a lot better. I have more understanding. And so again, happy Monday. I hope you guys had a great last week and an even better this week. I know there's tons going on with COVID-19, racism, brutality, and it's hard on our mental space. It's hard on my mental space. I will be perfectly honest with you. I have my good days and I have my bad days, but that's okay. We are all in this together. That's saying we are all in this together. I get it, because you have to know that you're not the only one that is feeling that way. Last week was difficult for me. Last week was very difficult. I had to come to realization with some things. I had to expose some things, and I had to have some communication about those things, and that's came about from this particular Motivational Monday movement. So I want to bring you guys in with me. Okay, so the challenge, and I'll talk about why this is a challenge. The challenge is to dive in, research, watch movies, talk to, ask about, interview, see how people feel that are different than you. Okay, so let me get a little bit better into this. Let me dive better. I'm a woman. I'm an African American. So I know about racism. I know about sexism. I experience both of those a lot. However, sometimes we get so stuck in our own situations and our own things that we don't realize that it's other people that are going through things that are similar or could be particularly worse. You never know. So for me, when I say challenge yourself, what I challenge myself to do is learn more about the gay and lesbian, the LGBTQ community, because that's something I just don't quite know a lot about. I have questions. I have friends that are gay. I have friends that I think are gay that ain't told me that they gay, but I don't care because I look at you as a person. So I start reading some different articles and watching movies. Matter of fact, I got an email today from an organization that I get emails from that they've been sending out stuff about Black Lives Matter. So they actually sent something today that said Black transgender lives matter. And so I've been watching a show called Pose. I've watched a couple other documentaries about transgenders and the LGBTQ community because, again, like I said, I won't even say understand. I know more about the gay and lesbian more so than the transgender side. However, being an educator, I have had students that were in that transgender phase, and I had to address them or communicate with them whatever way they felt the most comfortable. I remember one student, I was so nervous about having this student. I was like, oh my God, because it was a male, but the student identified as a woman and their name was kind of a womanly or girly name. And so I was like, oh my God, this is going to be hard, but it really wasn't, because the first thing that I always try to do is you have to build relationships with people, especially when you're in education. People don't talk to people that they don't trust or that they don't have a relationship with. I remember a couple of my students told my mom, if Miss Shields was on the street, we would probably beat her up because of some of the stuff that she says to us. But because we know she loves us, then we allow her to get away with it. Whatever. So with this particular student, we actually were really close, and I asked questions and we just had dialogue, because my thing that I would always start the conversation is if I'm being too nosy or I'm going too far, you don't feel comfortable answering, just let me know, because I don't know what's appropriate and what's not appropriate to ask. And so then I have to think about other situations where maybe a man didn't necessarily know how to communicate with me as a woman, or a white person may not have known how to communicate, or Asian or Hispanic. And so doing this has really opened my eyes. Now, does racism exist? Oh, yes. Oh, honey, yes, it does. It's more blatant than ever now. However, you can be more empathetic and sympathetic if you put yourself in a situation where you look into someone or a group of people that are different than you, that you know absolutely nothing about. It can even be a group that you may have had a negative thought process about. I'll be honest, I had negative thoughts about transgenders before. I'm like, why are we? But I don't anymore. There are things that I don't understand, and that's normal. But I challenge you. I challenge you to find a group of people. It could be a group of people that have disabilities. It can be a group of people that are a different race, nationality, religion, sex, any of that. I challenge you to dive in and look deep and find out how hard it is for that group of people to live in the United States, to live in the world, to live in a world where they may be a minority, or live in the world where they may be a majority. I challenge you. Since being locked down, quarantine, whatever you want to call it, social distancing, I've had a lot of time to think. I had a lot of time. I've done a lot of research on different situations. I've learned a lot. I've even learned a lot about African American history. Because I was interested before, I'm interested now, of course, because I teach my kids history. But the students that I teach now, they're working on the GED. The students in Missouri are working on the high set. There's very little black history in there. So I find myself wanting to know more. Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, they have sections that are just about black lives. So if you're not, even if you, we'll deal with African Americans first. Watch it. Know your history. You cannot know your future and your present if you don't understand and know your past. I get that now. For those that are not African American, look at some of those documentaries and those movies so you can see why we are so angry, why we are tired. It will make a lot of sense to you. I probably shouldn't admit this, but I knew very little about Black Wall Street until 2020. Knew a little bit, but not a lot. I know now. We have to be sensitive to people that aren't like us. We gotta be sensitive. This is coming from a woman, an African American woman. We have to do it. We have to. It's the only way that we're going to be able to have change. Now, I'm not going to go too deep into this, but last week I posted a video. I posted a video talking about some of my experiences dealing with racism. And I wanted a conversation. I posted that video because I wanted a conversation. I wanted to see how important it was what I said, to see if it was going to promote a conversation, because you cannot have change without conversation. Conversation, then change. So the other thing that I challenge you to on this Monday, today, I know we're dealing with a lot. I know we're stressed. I'm dealing with it too. I'm dealing with everything. Health issues, unemployment. I lost my job because of COVID. But in the end, we have to stay positive because we will get through this. The other thing that I challenge you to do is not stand still. If you see something, if you know something, or you hear something, don't just sit on it. Take action. Take action. Last week, I took action. action on something that had been bothering me for a very, 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 very long time. I know that everybody is not like me, and everybody does not have the ability or the know-how or even the desire to want to reach outside themselves and help other people. But I challenge you now to do that. Have those uncomfortable conversations. I had one of the most uncomfortable conversations in my professional life last week. I allowed myself to just completely say how I felt, and I was vulnerable. But it is what is needed. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Now, there's always a way that you handle business. You can't be, negative Nancy. You have to have your receipts. You have to communicate effectively. So on today's Motivational Monday movement, the two things that I challenge you to do is, one, stand up. Challenge something. If you see something, hear something, you've been through something that's not right, it's okay to say something. Because without conversation, there can be no change. The other thing I challenge you to do is research. It's very easy right now. Research, watch movies, documentaries, talk to, interview, befriend people that are different than you, and ask those questions. Be respectful, of course, but open your mind and open your horizons. Okay? All right, that is it for this Motivational Monday movement. I hope that I have been motivational to you and that you will be able to take a part in this movement. So have a blessed day, a blessed week, and I will see you guys very soon. Bye-bye.